Last video, we lived through March 2020 together, week by week, headline by headline, number by number. And I asked you one question: what would you have done? Today, we go one level deeper. Because here's the thing: almost every brokerage firm in America asks you about risk tolerance before you open an account. Fidelity asks, Vanguard asks, Schwab asks, Robinhood asks, they all ask. And almost every single person answers those questions wrong. Not because they're lying, because the questions themselves are broken. Today, I'm going to show you why, and then give you the tools to actually measure your real risk tolerance. The kind that holds up not on paper, but when your portfolio is down 30% and your hands are shaking over the sell button. Let's start with what a standard brokerage risk questionnaire actually looks like. You've probably seen one. Question 1. How would you describe your investment goals? Options: preserve capital, moderate growth, aggressive growth. Question 2. If your portfolio dropped 20% in 1 year, what would you do? Options: sell everything, sell some, hold, buy more. Question 3. What is your investment time horizon? Options: less than 3 years, 3 to 10 years, more than 10 years. You read those questions on a Tuesday afternoon, sitting comfortably at your desk, maybe with a cup of coffee, with zero financial stress in your life at that particular moment. And you answer, aggressive growth. I would buy more than 10 years. You feel good about yourself. You get categorized as an aggressive investor. They put you in an 80-20 portfolio. 80% stocks, 20% bonds. Great. Then March 2020 happens, and you find out that the person who answered those questions on a calm Tuesday afternoon and the person staring at a minus 35% portfolio at 11 p.m. on a Monday night are not the same person. The questionnaire measured your stated preferences. What we need to measure is your revealed preferences, what you actually do under real pressure. Those are two completely different things, and the gap between them is where financial plans go to die. There's a concept in behavioral economics called the hot-cold empathy gap, introduced by Carnegie Mellon professor George Lowenstein. The idea is simple. When you're in a cold emotional state, calm, comfortable, not under stress, you systematically underestimate how differently you'll think and feel and act when you're in a hot state, afraid, stressed, watching real money disappear in real time. You cannot accurately predict your hot state behavior from your cold state. The brokerage questionnaire is a cold state instrument trying to measure hot state behavior. It is structurally incapable of giving you the right answer. So, what actually works? Let me walk you through 5 tools, ranging from simple calculations you can do right now to more sophisticated frameworks used by financial psychologists and professional advisors. Tool number 1 is called the sleep test, and it is exactly what it sounds like. This is the simplest and most honest risk tolerance measurement available, and it requires no math, no questionnaire, and no spreadsheet. The question is this: what is the maximum dollar amount your portfolio could drop in a single year in a real bear market, and you would still sleep reasonably well at night? Not comfortably, not happily, but sleep, function, not panic sell. Here's the critical part. Don't answer this in percentages. Answer it in dollars. There is overwhelming research showing that humans process percentage losses very differently from dollar losses. 20% sounds manageable in the abstract. But if 20% of your portfolio is $40,000 and you viscerally imagine $40,000 leaving your account in 90 days, that feels very different. Financial psychologist Brad Klontz, who has spent decades studying money behavior, uses exactly this reframing with clients. Convert every percentage to a real dollar number before you decide if you can handle it. So right now, take your current investable portfolio, or the amount you're planning to invest, and calculate what a 20% loss looks like in dollars. Then calculate 30%, then 40%. Somewhere in that range, you'll hit a number that produces a physical reaction, a tightening in the chest, a flash of, I can't lose that. That number, the one just below your physical threshold, That is your real risk tolerance floor. Write it down. Tool number 2 is the historical scenario stress test. This is slightly more technical but extremely powerful. The idea is to look at your actual portfolio allocation, or the one you're considering, and run it through real historical market crashes to see what it would have actually done. Here are the numbers you need to know. During the dot-com crash from 2000 to 2002, the S&P 500 fell 49%. A 100% stock portfolio lost nearly half its value over 31 months. During the 2008 financial crisis, the S&P 500 fell 57% from peak to trough. A balanced 60-40 portfolio, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, lost about 30%. During the COVID crash in 2020, which we just lived through together, the S&P 500 fell 34% in 33 days. The fastest bear market in history. Now take your number. Let's say you have $100,000. A 100% stocks portfolio in 2008 would have dropped to $43,000. That's $57,000 gone. A 60-40 portfolio would have dropped to about $70,000. A 40-60 portfolio, 40% stocks, 60% bonds, would have dropped to roughly $82,000. The exercise is this. Look at each of those real dollar numbers, not the percentages, the dollar amounts, and ask yourself for each scenario, at this number, would I hold or would I sell? Be ruthlessly honest. If the answer is, I would probably sell at $70,000 but could hold at $82,000, that tells you your allocation should be closer to 40% stocks, not 60, not 80. This tool is available for free on several platforms. Vanguard's portfolio analysis tool lets you run historical scenarios. Portfolio Visualizer at portfoliovisualizer.com allows you to backtest any allocation across any historical period. These are free tools. Use them before you invest, not after. Tool number 3 is the regret minimization framework, and this one addresses a psychological asymmetry that standard questionnaires completely ignore. Most risk tolerance tools only measure your fear of losses. They do not measure your fear of missing gains. And these two fears are in direct conflict. And the tension between them is what makes investing psychologically painful. Here's how it works. You ask yourself 2 separate questions. First, how would I feel if I invested aggressively and the market crashed 50%? Imagine the specific number. Imagine telling your spouse. Imagine looking at your account. Rate your regret on a scale of 1 to 10. Second question, how would I feel if I invested conservatively and the market went up 40% and I missed most of it? Imagine watching your friends talk about their returns. Imagine calculating what you could have had. Rate that regret on a scale of 1 to 10. If your loss regret is a 9 and your missed gains regret is a 4, you are genuinely more loss-averse than gain-seeking. And a conservative allocation is right for you psychologically, even if it's suboptimal mathematically. If both scores are high, you feel equally bad about both outcomes. You're in the classic investor dilemma, and the solution is usually a moderate allocation, combined with very strict rules about not checking your portfolio during downturns. If your missed gains regret is actually higher than your loss regret, which is less common but absolutely real, you may be underinvested relative to your actual psychology, and increasing your equity exposure might reduce your overall anxiety, not increase it. Jeff Bezos famously described a version of this framework when he was deciding whether to leave his Wall Street job to start Amazon. He called it the regret minimization framework, projecting himself to age 80 and asking which decision he would regret more. That same logic applies to your portfolio construction. What will 80-year-old you regret more, taking risk or not taking enough? Tool number 4 is the Risk Tolerance Assessment by Phenometrica, and this one is used by professional financial advisors across the United States and in over 20 countries. It is the gold standard of psychometrically validated risk tolerance measurement. Phenometrica was developed by Australian researchers in the 1990s and has since been taken by over 1 million investors. The assessment consists of 25 questions, and unlike the standard brokerage questionnaire, it was designed using actual psychological research, validated against real investor behavior, not just stated preferences. The questions are designed to be resistant to social desirability bias, the tendency to answer the way you think you're supposed to answer rather than how you actually feel. For example, instead of asking, "Would you sell if markets dropped 20%?" Phenometrica asks questions about how you handle uncertainty in other areas of life, how you react to past financial decisions you've made, and what your intuitive reaction is to specific gamble scenarios with real dollar amounts. The result is a score from 0 to 100 that places you in one of 5 risk categories, with detailed descriptions of how people in each category actually behave during market stress. You can access Phenometrica through many registered investment advisors, and a standalone version of the assessment is available at riskprofiling.com. It costs around $45. That $45 might be the best financial decision you ever make, because it can prevent you from being in the wrong allocation for your psychological profile, which, as we saw in the March 2020 data, can cost you far more than $45. Tool number 5 is what I call the actual history audit, and this is available to you only if you've been investing for at least one full market cycle, meaning you've already experienced at least one significant correction of 15% or more. The idea is brutally simple. Instead of predicting what you would do during a crash, look at what you actually did during the last one. Go into your brokerage account, pull up your transaction history for March 2020, or for the fourth quarter of 2018 when markets fell 20% in 3 months, or for February 2022 through October 2022 when the S&P 500 fell 25% over 9 months. What did you actually do? Did you hold? Did you sell some? Did you sell everything? Did you buy? The answer to that question is the most accurate risk tolerance data point you have. More accurate than any questionnaire, more accurate than any model, because it is observed behavior, not hypothetical behavior. If you find that you sold during one of those periods, don't shame yourself. That's data. Valuable data. It tells you that your actual behavioral risk tolerance is lower than your stated risk tolerance, and your allocation should reflect that. The goal is not to become the person who never sells during a crash. The goal is to build a portfolio that you will not feel compelled to sell during a crash. Those are different problems with different solutions. Now let me give you a framework for putting all 5 tools together. Think of it as a calibration process. Step 1. Do the sleep test and identify your maximum tolerable dollar loss. Step 2. Run the historical scenario stress test on your current or target allocation, and make sure the worst-case dollar drop is below your sleep test threshold. Step 3. Do the regret minimization exercise and make sure you're not building a portfolio that will cause you more anxiety through underinvestment than through volatility. Step 4. Take the Phenometrica assessment and see how your self-assessed tolerance compares to a psychometrically validated score. If they diverge significantly, pay attention to the Phenometrica result. It has decades of validated data behind it. Step 5. If you have actual investing history, audit it. Let your past behavior calibrate everything else. What you're building through this process is not a perfect portfolio. There is no perfect portfolio. What you're building is a portfolio with what behavioral finance researchers call pre-commitment strategies. A structure and a set of rules that make it psychologically easier to stay invested during the inevitable moments when every headline and every instinct is telling you to sell. Here is the most important insight I can leave you with, and it comes directly from a 2021 Vanguard research paper called Putting a Value on Your Value. Vanguard researchers attempted to quantify the value added by financial advisors, and their finding was striking. The biggest single source of value wasn't asset allocation. It wasn't tax optimization. It wasn't fund selection. It was what they called behavioral coaching, helping clients not sell during market downturns. They estimated this single factor is worth approximately 1.5% to 2% in annualized returns per year. Not because advisors have better information, because they help you not destroy your own portfolio when your amygdala is screaming at you to get out. You don't need to pay an advisor for that. You can build the same protection yourself through honest self-assessment, through the right allocation, through pre-commitment rules, and through understanding your own psychological profile before the next crisis arrives. And it will arrive. It always does. The investors who consistently outperform over long periods are not the ones with the best stock picks or the most sophisticated models. They are the ones who have built a system they can stay inside of when things get painful. They are the ones who measured their real risk tolerance, not the aspirational one, not the questionnaire one, and built their portfolio around that honest number. If this framework helped you, leave a comment below with your score. After doing the sleep test, what percentage allocation feels right for you now compared to what you thought before? I read every comment. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to actually build the portfolio once you know your real tolerance. The specific funds, the specific ratios, the specific rebalancing rules meant for 3 different risk profiles: conservative, moderate, and aggressive. See you there.